Secrecy, the power of silence. What if the very act of revealing who you are makes you vulnerable? Every word you share, every detail you expose, every thought you allow others to know, it shapes how they see you. It shapes how they influence you. It shapes how they can control you. And most of the time, you don't even realize it. The silent danger of oversharing. Humans are wired for connection. We crave understanding. We seek approval. We hope for trust. And yet, this instinct is a double-edged sword. When you reveal yourself, your fears, ambitions, mistakes, or desires, you hand over more than information. You hand over leverage. Psychologists call this self-disclosure asymmetry. While we believe sharing builds connection, it often gives others a map of our psychological terrain, our motivations, vulnerabilities, and triggers, secrets as strategic assets. History teaches that restraint can be power. Consider rulers who thrived not because they were universally loved, but because they were unreadable. Diplomats in Renaissance courts who revealed little about their intentions manipulated alliances with precision. Generals whose plans were obscured from both allies and enemies retained advantage. Kings whose words were measured inspired respect and hesitation, rather than exploitation. Secrecy is not shameful. It is a strategic asset. The most dangerous individuals are not those who attack openly. They are those whose inner world is untouchable, those who walk through social and political spaces, unraidable, unprovable, and unknowable. They wield influence quietly, often unnoticed, because no one can predict their reactions or motivations. The cost of revealing too much. Consider modern examples. An employee shares personal struggles with a manager, only to find that vulnerability leveraged for extra work or subtle ridicule. A friend reveals a financial secret, which spreads, damaging trust and altering relationships. A viral social media post exposes personal opinions or regrets, attracting scrutiny, judgment, or manipulation from strangers. Every revelation carries risk. Every confession may be exploited. Every unguarded moment is a potential weapon in someone else's hands. The paradox is simple: what we believe strengthens intimacy can also undermine our autonomy. The people who protect their inner world are often the ones who move freely through life's power plays. They are unseen, unread, and unmanipulated. Those who expose their thoughts, emotions, and intentions are constantly preyed upon, because vulnerability invites control. The central thesis, the key insight emerges: silence is not weakness. Secrecy is not deception. The boundaries you set around your inner world define the reach others have over you. Those who safeguard their secrets walk unchallenged. Those who reveal them risk becoming tools in someone else's strategy. The question you must now ask yourself is simple: what part of yourself are you unknowingly giving away today? In the sections ahead, we will explore how to stop giving away your power, how to structure interactions, speech, and even thoughts in a way that maintains autonomy, and how becoming unreadable, becoming dangerous, can be your greatest protection. Because the most profound power lies not in dominating others, but in controlling what they can know about you. SCTO, why we reveal too much? Why do we reveal so much of ourselves? It's not carelessness, it's not recklessness, it's human nature. Humans are wired for connection. Approval feels like oxygen. Belonging is survival. And yet this instinct, the same one that binds societies, can betray us. We overshare because we crave understanding. We fear exclusion. We hope to be seen and valued. The psychological mechanisms, psychology explains it with precision. The illusion of transparency. We assume others know less about us than they do, compelling us to over-explain. Every confession, every justification is meant to clarify, but often only reveals more than we intend. Social validation bias. When others nod, like, or agree, our brain interprets this as safety, encouraging even deeper disclosure. Evolutionary imperatives for millennia. Humans survived in small groups. Cooperation required sharing intentions, thoughts, and emotions. But in modern society, the cost of oversharing is far higher. Modern examples of overexposure: social media has normalized over-disclosure. Every post, story or update builds a profile, not just for friends, but for strangers, opportunists and manipulators. Workplaces are rife with subtle traps. A well-intentioned admission of stress or insecurity can become leverage for colleagues. Even close relationships are not immune. Sharing too early, too often, or too intimately can shift dynamics, creating vulnerability rather than trust. Information asymmetry and leverage. Every piece of personal information creates information asymmetry. The more you reveal, the more manipulators can predict your behavior, influence your decisions, and shape your perceptions. History is replete with examples. Spies who shared too much in confidence, only to see secrets weaponized. Diplomats whose intentions leaked prematurely, losing strategic advantage. Political figures whose emotional vulnerabilities were exploited by rivals. The lesson is timeless: knowledge about oneself is power when withheld. Exposure without strategy is vulnerability. Self-restraint is not repression, it is strategic empowerment. When you decide what others can see and what remains untouchable, you reclaim influence over your narrative. Secrets become shields. Silence becomes leverage. The unseen parts of your mind become untouchable territory. The cinematic takeaway: the human instinct to share is natural, but unrestrained disclosure is dangerous. By understanding why we reveal too much, we recognize that secrecy is not a moral failing. It is a form of protection, a tool, a quiet force that allows us to navigate the world without surrendering control. The question now is no longer why we share, but which parts of yourself will you choose to safeguard? CCTU, the historical art of concealment. Throughout history, those who wielded secrecy mastered life itself, not by brute force, not by sheer charisma, but by controlling what others could and could not know. Information is currency, and the less you reveal, the more control you command. Machiavellian masters of concealment. Consider Machiavelli, often miscast as a purveyor of immorality. In truth, he was an observer of reality, a man who understood that knowledge of intentions, fears, and desires is a strategic asset. Rulers of Renaissance courts followed these principles meticulously. Intentional ambiguity: a vague statement could spark loyalty or caution, depending on perception. Selective disclosure: sharing only what reinforced authority, while withholding vulnerability. Psychological misdirection: gestures, rumors, and staged appearances crafted a persona beyond prediction. By controlling information, they could influence alliances, manipulate negotiations, and avoid threats before they materialized. Spies and strategists: secrecy extended beyond courts. Legendary spies throughout history survived and thrived by remaining unreadable. During wars, agents concealed networks' intentions and movements, letting enemies reveal themselves first. Messages were encoded, misdirection was routine, and true motives were hidden beneath layers of feints. Success did not depend on aggression, it depended on knowing more than the other side and revealing less than they imagined. The lesson is clear: the one who knows but reveals little controls the narrative. Timeless principles in modern life. These historical strategies are not relics. Modern corporate negotiations mirror courtly games. Executives withhold intentions until leverage is maximized. Teams craft ambiguous public statements while private discussions reveal true strategy. Political campaigns manage narratives by selective disclosure, shaping perception without overexposure. Even in personal relationships, subtle misdirection and strategic silence influence outcomes more than overt manipulation. Techniques of strategic concealment. Secrecy is both art and science. Intentional ambiguity: speak in ways that convey information without revealing full motive. Selective disclosure: share what advances your goals, guard what exposes vulnerability. Psychological misdirection: guide attention, prompt assumptions, and let others reveal themselves. Applied thoughtfully, these techniques shift power quietly, without confrontation. Philosophical reflection, secrecy is not fear, it is agency. It is the ability to participate in life on your terms, rather than the terms others impose. It preserves freedom of choice, guards autonomy, and protects the mind from invisible influence. Those who master concealment are not distant or cold. They are deliberate. They understand that the world is filled with forces seeking access to their inner landscape, and by guarding it, they become untouchable. The historical art of concealment is not just a lesson in intrigue. It is a framework for modern survival, a blueprint for maintaining power in a world that prizes transparency and oversharing. In the next section, we will explore the psychological rules that turn secrecy into practical power, guiding you from observation to strategic action. Title is Stop Revealing Your Secrets, Become Dangerous. Tetouan IV, the danger of transparency. Transparency feels virtuous. Be open, be authentic, share your truth, society tells us. But what if being too transparent is dangerous? Every thought you reveal, every plan you confess, every emotion you display, these are breadcrumbs that someone else can follow. Predictable patterns, the hidden cost. Human beings crave understanding. We like to think we are mysterious, but oversharing creates predictable behavior patterns. When you reveal your fears, manipulators know which buttons to push. When you share ambitions, rivals can anticipate your moves. When you show emotional reactions, others can engineer outcomes to provoke, distract, or control. Psychological concepts illuminate this danger. Projection: people see what they want to see, but they also project your revealed tendencies back at you, reinforcing their influence. Confirmation bias: once someone knows your inclinations, they selectively feed information to confirm your expected reactions. Trust exploitation: revealed vulnerabilities become tools. The more you are understood, the easier it is to steer your choices subtly. Transparency creates a facade of connection, while masking leverage in the hands of those who understand human behavior. Stories of betrayal, history, and everyday life is full of cautionary tales. Romantic betrayal: lovers share intimate fears or ambitions, only to have them weaponized in arguments or seductions. Corporate espionage: employees disclose strategic plans or weaknesses, giving competitors advantage. Political intrigue: statesmen and diplomats expose intentions, allowing rivals to anticipate, counter, or undermine them. The pattern is universal. Those who overshare often become subtly controlled, even when they believe they are autonomous. The paradox of being understood. Being understood feels safe, yet superficial understanding is often the trap. When others think they know you, they can guide your actions without confrontation. Your choices, your beliefs, even your emotional responses can be shaped without your awareness. The danger is invisible. It is quiet, it is persuasive. Philosophical reflection: the lesson is unsettling. Your mind is your domain. Every revelation is a doorway. Every disclosure is an invitation. Control over your inner world is not secrecy for shame, but strategy for survival. Visual: a lone figure walks through a crowded city, calm, unobserved, each step deliberate, unseen forces moving around, but unable to touch them. By mastering what you reveal, your thoughts, intentions, and emotions, you reclaim influence. Transparency becomes a choice, not a default. Transition to actionable strategies. Understanding the danger of oversharing sets the stage for mastery. The next step is not fear, it is action. In the sections to come, we will explore practical rules and psychological strategies to guard your inner world, to stop being predictable, to stop being controlled, to stop giving your secrets away, and to become dangerous in the truest sense. Tetouan V. Rule V1. Guard your thoughts. Thoughts are power. Every unspoken idea, every private insight, every mental calculation is a tool, one that belongs solely to you. Yet, in a world that glorifies sharing, we give them away freely. The danger of expressing your mind freely. History offers countless lessons. Diplomats who revealed their strategies prematurely found allies turned rivals. Generals who spoke their plans openly faced ambushes before the first battle. Leaders whose opinions were too transparent became predictable, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation. The principle is simple: once a thought is revealed, it no longer belongs to you. Psychologically unguarded thoughts are a map for manipulators. They reveal patterns, biases, and preferences, the very elements that others can exploit to steer your behavior without confrontation. Modern applications in everyday life, the risks are subtle but pervasive. Workplace interactions, sharing your doubts or preferences may subtly influence how colleagues assign tasks or negotiate power. Online debates, posting opinions publicly exposes your thinking patterns to strangers, trolls, and competitors alike. Social dynamics, over-explaining feelings or ideas can invite judgment. Exploitation or manipulation from friends, family, or partners. The lesson is timeless: what you think privately is yours. What you reveal publicly can be weaponized against you. The discipline of strategic thinking. Guarding your thoughts is not about fear. It is mental discipline. It is learning to analyze before speaking, to measure the potential consequences of every disclosure. It is the difference between acting from instinct and acting with intention. Visual: the figure in the study closes the journal, leans back, and surveys the room calmly, aware but unreadable. By mastering this, you reclaim your agency. Your mind becomes an untouchable fortress. Cinematic takeaway: your thoughts are the foundation of influence. If you relinquish them carelessly, you relinquish control. By guarding your mental space, you ensure that you alone determine how, or if, your ideas impact the world. This is the first rule of becoming untouchable. Title: Stop revealing your secrets. Become dangerously. Rule Fei Tu In: Master the art of ambiguity. Ambiguity is power, not confusion, not deceit, but the ability to speak with intention while revealing just enough and no more. Every statement you make shapes perception. Every pause invites interpretation, and every carefully measured word is a tool for maintaining control over how others predict your behavior. The strategic advantage of leaving gaps. History offers countless examples. Diplomats in Renaissance courts often delivered statements that could be interpreted multiple ways, keeping rivals unsure of true intent. Political leaders mastered vague language, allowing them to adapt positions without losing credibility or appearing weak. Negotiators in tense deals would speak just enough to signal interest or disinterest, leaving room for opponents to reveal their own priorities. Psychologically, humans are wired to fill in the gaps. We crave certainty. When information is incomplete, we project assumptions, intentions, or desires, often inaccurately. This is your advantage. Controlled opacity turns human instinct into a tool working in your favor. Modern applications in daily life. Ambiguity can protect and empower. Conversations at work: avoid stating fixed opinions early, leave room for negotiation and observation. Online interactions. Subtlety in posts or messages prevents predictable reactions and preserves privacy. Social dynamics. Strategic vagueness can prevent emotional exploitation, keeping your motives and feelings inaccessible to manipulators. The psychological principle: controlled ambiguity is not about lying. It is about intentional silence within speech. It is giving enough to satisfy curiosity, but never enough to hand away leverage. By mastering this, you turn uncertainty into a shield. Others cannot manipulate what they cannot fully see. They guess, and your mind remains untouchable. Visual: a chessboard overlay. Your opponent moves pieces assuming knowledge that doesn't exist. Cinematic takeaway: ambiguity transforms communication into strategy. By speaking with care and leaving space for interpretation, you maintain freedom over perception and choice. Your words become tools, not vulnerabilities. In a world that prizes clarity, the one who leaves room for doubt holds the quiet power. SC Town Fi Rule Hen 3: Use silence strategically. Silence is not emptiness. It is a weapon, a shield. Every pause, every withheld word is intentional leverage. When you resist the urge to fill conversational gaps, the world begins to reveal itself. Historical lessons in strategic silence. History is full of masters who understood this instinctively. Espionage. Spies stayed unreadable, saying little while coaxing secrets from their targets. One pause, one carefully measured non-answer could unravel an enemy's entire plan. Courtroom strategy. Experienced lawyers know that silence compels witnesses to over-explain, betray assumptions, or expose inconsistencies. Diplomacy and statecraft. Statesmen used calculated pauses in negotiations to create tension, prompting rivals to concede prematurely. The psychology of silence. Silence works because the human mind cannot stand uncertainty. It creates tension. People instinctively fill gaps, often projecting their assumptions onto the silent figure. It signals confidence. Those who speak only when necessary appear in control, unreadable, untouchable. It triggers self-revelation. The more others try to interpret silence, the more they disclose about themselves. Modern applications. Silence is a tool for anyone who wants to remain untouchable. Interpersonal conversations. Pausing before responding forces the other to explain, clarify, or reveal motives. Workplace dynamics. Leaders who listen more than they speak can anticipate challenges, uncover hidden agendas, and gain insight without exposure. Social interactions and online communication. A measured response or deliberate non-response creates control over perception, preventing emotional manipulation. Cinematic takeaways. Silence is not weakness, it is intention. It is control without confrontation, influence without aggression. By embracing pauses, measured absence, and deliberate restraint, you compel others to reveal what you choose to observe while leaving your own mind untouchable. Visual. The protagonist walks through a crowded street, calm, unreadable, as conversations around them unfold, others unknowingly revealing more than they intend. The rule is simple: speak less, observe more, let silence work for you. Setruon rule y forhe. Share sparingly with purpose. Not every secret must be held. Some can be shared, but only with precision, purpose, and timing. Information, like power, is a tool. Wield it carelessly, and it can be turned against you. Wield it strategically, and it can build trust, influence, and loyalty without compromising your autonomy. The strategic power of selective sharing. History shows us this principle in action. Renaissance diplomats revealed just enough to secure alliances while keeping their true intentions hidden. Court advisors shared sensitive counsel sparingly, gaining influence without exposure. Generals disclosed select plans to subordinate officers to inspire action, while guarding the full strategy. Psychology confirms the effect. Humans respond positively when they feel included in information, but the one who controls the flow maintains leverage. Modern-day applications. Sharing sparingly is a survival skill in modern life, professional environments. Reveal only what strengthens collaboration or negotiation. Oversharing can invite critique, sabotage, or manipulation. Personal relationships. A carefully timed disclosure of thoughts or feelings deepens connection without making you vulnerable to emotional exploitation. Social and online interactions. Strategic sharing projects confidence and discretion while leaving others uncertain about your limits. Psychological principle. The key is intentionality. Every disclosure should answer 3 questions. Why am I sharing this? What impact will it have? Will it increase influence without exposure? By sharing with purpose, you shape perception. You create allies who feel involved without giving away the inner workings of your mind. Cinematic takeaway. Secrets are not absolutes. They are instruments. Measured, purposeful disclosure strengthens influence. It builds trust. It opens doors. But the moment you share indiscriminately, you surrender power. Rule 4 is clear: share sparingly, with intent, and always on your terms. SC Tyanax. Rule 25A. Understand others' motives before revealing yours. Before you reveal anything about yourself, you must first understand the world around you. Every person carries intentions, desires, and fears. And just as your thoughts can be weaponized, so can your misjudgment of others' motives. The first step in self-preservation is observation. The second is patience. The third is psychological literacy, reading motives, the historical perspective. History is a masterclass in understanding before revealing. Renaissance diplomats studied rival courts for months before committing to alliances, learning who could be trusted and who sought leverage. Generals observed enemy commanders for subtle tells, avoiding traps by interpreting intentions before making moves. Spies infiltrated courts and governments by silently mapping relationships, vulnerabilities, and ambitions before ever revealing their own positions. Modern applications. In contemporary life, the principle is just as vital. Workplace dynamics, negotiation fails when assumptions are made about colleagues' intentions. Reading cues and understanding agendas allows you to protect your ideas and influence outcomes. Social relationships, friends, family, or partners may exploit unguarded trust. Observing motivations first prevents emotional exposure and manipulation. Social networks. Publicly revealing opinions without knowing who benefits or judges can invite exploitation, conflict, or misrepresentation. The psychology of patience and observation. Human nature often compels us to disclose prematurely, but the wise know observation creates leverage. Understanding vulnerabilities lets you anticipate reactions. Patience prevents regret. Waiting before revealing ensures your intentions are safe. Psychological literacy is armor. Recognizing manipulation tactics shields your mind before others can influence it. By understanding others first, you dictate the terms of engagement. You control the flow of information, ensuring your secrets remain yours. Cinematic takeaway: revealing yourself is not weakness. Revealing yourself too soon, without comprehension, is the rule. Is simple: map intentions before revealing yours. Observe first, speak later, trust cautiously. SCTYX, the final realization. Dangerous freedom. What if the very act of revealing yourself was your greatest vulnerability? Throughout this journey, we've uncovered a paradox. The human instinct to connect, to explain, to disclose often becomes a chain. Every thought shared, every emotion exposed, every intention revealed can be leveraged against us. But there is a way to walk through the world unshaken, a path forged not by domination, but by discipline and awareness. Secrecy as empowerment. Secrecy is not about hiding fear. It is not about deception. It is agency. When you guard your inner world, you retain the freedom to act with clarity, to respond rather than react, and to navigate influence without surrendering yourself. Every pause, every carefully chosen word, every withheld thought builds a buffer between you and external manipulation. You are not isolated, you are protected. The ethical dimension. Dangerous freedom is not a license to exploit others. It is a framework for conscious living, to speak intentionally, not impulsively, to share information with purpose, not neediness, to observe motives, but never manipulate without responsibility. By applying these principles ethically, you reshape relationships, work, and social dynamics. You create an environment where influence flows outward by choice, not by unconscious submission. Reflective connection to the opening hook. Remember the question we began with. What if revealing who you are makes you vulnerable? Now the answer is clear. Vulnerability is real when transparency is unmeasured. Freedom emerges when secrecy is intentional. Power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling what you allow them to know. Psychologically, this is liberation. Emotionally, it is resilience. Socially, it is influence without surrender. Cinematic takeaway: to become dangerous, not cruel, not manipulative, but untouchable, is to protect your inner world. Guard your thoughts. Speak ambiguously. Use silence strategically, share selectively. Observe motives before revealing your own. These rules are not merely defensive. They are the architecture of freedom. Closing statement: the ultimate power is not control over others. It is control over yourself. It is the calm knowledge that your mind, your intentions, and your choices are yours, untouchable, unmanipulated, dangerous in your freedom.